Our kiosk is purposely, this kind of size iPad, just slightly bigger than an iPad size.
Is the similar size as normal Square terminals?
Yeah, exactly. And you have the choice of putting it on a stand, or you can mount it on the wall.
Nice.
And the reason being is that's safe, that's space saving.
Yeah.
So
and it's got the Square payment built into it as well, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Captive Conversations, brought to you by Captive Wi-Fi. I'm your host, Adam Foreman. This podcast brings you the best stories from suppliers, marketers, and operators from our beloved hospitality sector. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone. We are very excited today because I have Fi Sellick, who is the UK Head of Strategy at Square. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And Square's like a machine at the moment, all over the place. And literally, as soon as I walk out my office, the Laura Land, they have Square. So it's going to be interesting to hear about Square, but that's going to be later. So this is more about you to start with.
Okay.
So we're going to start. We'll start in a minute about to deep dive. But let's start with the two questions from the last guest, and that is he was JP then. He runs Slurp. Mm-hmm. Which I think is also plugged into Square, which is cool. And he's got a very cool platform. His first question: if you had to eat the same thing every week for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Cheese. All day long, every day.
Yeah, every day.
For the rest of my life, happily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a box in my fridge that's the cheese has to go into because my husband just kind of got fed up with opening the door and like almost falling over. So yeah.
The special cheeses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, special cheeses. Yeah. When the cheese guy sees me coming at Christmas, he's like, guys,
move out the way.
Come up. It's like, pound sign.
Amazing.
Yeah, cheese.
I wish I was I also very much like cheese, but my nose doesn't like cheese, which is a problem. So I'm a little bit unfortunate for that. But I do very much like the on a complete different story. Bleecker, the burger place, do a angry fries and some blue cheese and which is just amazing. Anyway, I digress. Next question: tea or coffee? Either way. Which tea or which coffee?
Okay, coffee.
Yeah.
And my favorite blend to take home is, ironically, this is not set up, I promise you, is called Square Mile. And I just was, I know it was meant to be. I was introduced to them through a Square seller called Caffeine, and that's their house blend. And interestingly, David Beckham occasionally buys his coffee from there. So I feel like I'm, part of the team. It's the closest I've ever been to football or cool people in my life. So
it's a good name drop. It's a good name drop.
Yeah.
It's a good name drop. Nice. I also a big coffee fan. Yeah. Work with lots of coffee people. You have lots of coffee clients as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So we're often like walking around.
Yeah. Because you get a free coffee.
Yeah.
Now have another coffee.
No, we always pay. We always pay for our coffees.
Good. Yeah, me too. I'm very much like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't like I always get nervous with the freebies. I'd rather just not do it and let them enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
And then I can enjoy that without any stress about it.
Exactly. Well, it's the trickle down of theory, isn't it? Everybody should pay their way and everybody gets something from it.
I agree, 100%. Okay, we're going to start with the standard questions. So the first question here is best hospitality experience.
Ooh, this was a hard one. So I don't want to sound really bougie, but as a special birthday present, once my husband, one of our favorite restaurants was Michelle Roux at Parliament Square. Unfortunately, it's closed now, but that was our kind of really, really special occasion. Go there.
Yeah.
And he sometimes has these kind of set menu events where he pairs it with a vineyard. But he did one which was affordable, so we could go. And it was with a really, really tiny family-owned vineyard that he kind of lives next door to.
Wow.
And it was just the best evening ever. And I have a bit of a crush on him, which my husband fully aware of.
Yeah.
And he came over to like you know, say hi. Do you enjoy
Yeah,
the
yeah.
food? And I've
We were able to speak.
looked for no. And normally I'm not a person who's lost words, so my husband kind of reveled in that.
Yeah.
And
He spoke for you.
he spoke on my, he had to a number of times every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Stay.
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, he is amazing.
He is amazing and a really nice person to roll up.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Actually,
Yeah.
I've not met him, but I unfortunately didn't get to go to the Gavroche, which is so upsetting.
No, me neither.
So it just kills me. I kept on saying we've got to go for a close, we've got to go, and then time just flies. So interesting to see what's next. Best hospitality tech, but no self noms.
Square, obviously. So it's funny that you mentioned Slurp. A friend of mine was also one of the founders. So I just wanted to say, obviously, those guys. But one of the great ones that I've come across recently is Edify.
Yeah.
And we're currently integrating with them. And it was brilliant because the story behind it is fantastic. The tech is also fantastic. It's built specifically for coffee shops.
Yeah.
And the guy, Ed.
Yes.
Which is why it's called Edify. Built it. Yeah, I know, it's great, right? Built it because he owned coffee shops.
Yeah.
And it fulfills all of the very, very, very niche things that just weren't being fulfilled by other tech. And so he built that. Yeah. I just love that story.
Yeah.
Also, the tech is fantastic. So yeah, those guys.
Yeah, no, he exited and then built, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, did a very good job.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so we're gonna go back in time. Early doors, before Square, before everything else. My very good ChatGPT deep researcher was talking about your personal journey and hospitality philosophy, but we're going to just go back we're just going to go back to the beginning of where the journey started. And I always ask this sort of question as well. When you were younger, did you work in hospitality at all? Because lots of people I know were like, yeah, you know, so on. So
absolutely, yeah. I have worked in a bakery. My first ever job was a 4-mile paper round.
Yeah.
So in a corner shop, you know.
Yeah.
And they paid me £7 a week. So I feel like that's when I learned return on investment. The 4 miles a day for £7 a week wasn't the correct level of return on investment. So I didn't last that out very long. But yeah, I worked in a bakery. I've obviously worked behind a bar. I worked at the BSU. So worked in hospitality throughout my formative years.
Yes.
And know how hard it is and know how confusing it can be when you're dealing with a really old till. And remember accidentally charging one of our customers when I was working in like a really old school bar.
Yeah.
4 times for a mixer.
Yeah.
Because it was like
it was the pen and because I've used
and then he paid it. He was like, he looked at me confused.
You just smiled, didn't you?
But I smiled sweetly and he paid it. And then the next guy, who was his friend, ordered the same thing.
Yeah.
And obviously the cost was different. And he was like, why is your round so much more expensive? And I kind of had to hide. So I know what it's like to kind of get it wrong so horribly. Because I also didn't know how to refund on the till. Because it's right. So I've done all of that. I came up that way, definitely.
So where did the journey start after, I guess, business? Like where did you start?
Yeah. So I've worked kind of in all areas. I started off in marketing.
Yeah.
And worked both media side and agency side, which was so interesting because from a media perspective, you learn firstly the basics.
Yeah.
So you're learning about all the different types of media and how they work and what they're supposed to do. And then from an agency side, you get to work on lots of different brands. And, you know, I had the privilege to work on lots of household brands, some FMCG brands and food and beverage brands as well. Worked on, you know, Brothers Cider, worked on Greg's, those sorts of guys, which is super interesting. And then went in-house for a US tech company, ticketing tech brand that were looking to launch their brand in the UK.
Okay.
I was their first ever employee.
Really?
Yeah, I literally got in, empty office, opened my laptop, sat there alone for 2 weeks, waiting for the next person to join.
Someone will come to the door.
Yeah, please, husband only. So that was a real experience, and we built that brand up over kind of a 4-year period. Had a brilliant time learning how to take something from nothing to a complete
So what was the role there?
That was a whole load of different roles,
imagine.
as you do in kind of startups. I started as marketing director and then ended up as VP of London. So like VP of like the whole market. So yeah, that was a ride. And then I worked for a brilliant market research consultancy, and they were looking to take their consultancy products and automate them. So they could serve obviously more customers. And so worked with them on how to bring those to market and strategies. So the nice thing about that was that I learned a lot about consumer research and, audience cohorts and how to break audiences down and to profile them and to target them specifically. And then, think about how to grow those different segments and where the opportunity for growth is and those sorts of things over those 2 different roles. So and then joined Square. And then here we are.
Wow. It's interesting actually, because I mean, so the tech was more ticketing rather than hospitality, right? So
the tech started off. Well, I lie, because the agency that I was at before was a digital agency. And so we were working on tech brands there as well. So, and we were also helping really traditional businesses and everything, like kind of, again, household brands, create a digital strategy and transform their kind of traditional marketing into the digital world, which a lot of them were kind of stuck and don't know what to do here. How do we
should just do pay for adverts.
Well, just not even that. It's just like, I remember talking to them about their distribution and like how their website works, and you need to be quicker to deliver things because your competitors are wiping the floor with you, and those sorts of conversations happen a lot. And I think because if you start in marketing, it's such a dynamic function, you end up touching all of those other things as well, because you're assisting them. And so you end up kind of going, well, this is the reason why we're losing there. This is because you can clearly, their messaging is, we'll get it to you next day delivery, and your messaging is, we'll get it to you in 2 to 5 days. You're just gonna lose,
and the journey is longer.
Doesn't matter where you buy your ads.
Right.
So I think that was kind of the path to moving into the go-to-market strategy role that I'm in now.
Taking something and making it better, making them not making the product better, but making the process better.
I think it's more about kind of being more aware of your surroundings. So there are kind of a couple of rules. There's a really good book which all kind of strategists will talk about, good strategy, bad strategy, and they call out kind of 3 key rules, which are very true. And also, by the way, they didn't invent them. If you read The Art of War, that's kind of in there. So they've been around for centuries and centuries.
Just moved into it.
They've just made it commercial. So things are around kind of, firstly, be aware of your surroundings, understand who your competitors are, understand why they're winning, where they're winning, which go-to-market motions they're leaning into, and why, what's their messaging for their products, how are their products different to yours, which segments are they servicing and which aren't they, those sorts of things, because you don't necessarily need to go up against them in every way. You can find some blue sky somewhere. So that's kind of the first piece. The second piece is decide what to do, but also what not to do, which is super important. I actually believe that in life, full stop. Like, if you decide what you don't want in life, everything else is up for grabs. And it's the same in business. Like, if you decide what you don't want, then you can start thinking about focusing on what you do. And it helps you focus, even though you're not necessarily sure on that. And there's a great story actually from Bernardo we heard the other day, who's one of the founders of Chengo empanadas, he said that the pandemic did that for him.
Yeah.
So the pandemic, he previously he had this very mixed concept. You know, was it a takeaway? Was it a restaurant? Should we do tapas as well? Should we add some wine?
Yeah.
And, you know, oh, we're trying to, and it was kind of not quite taking off. And then the pandemic happened, and they just did takeaway because that's all you could do during the pandemic.
Yeah, of course.
And it just flew. Yeah. And now he has 11 locations.
Yeah.
So that idea of kind of knowing what you don't want to do then helps you hone what you do. And then the last is plan to implement, because strategies are great, but they often kind of get written down.
Yeah.
And then they open the
drawer.
drawer.
It's a great idea.
And you put them in the drawer. Yeah. And you close the drawer. That's it. Yeah. Nice. But if you don't implement any of it, or if you can't implement it, you like created a strategy, but your business can't support it, then it's useless. So yeah.
3 big key
three. Yeah. Key rules.
I like that. That's really interesting. Well, there's a couple of questions here actually. We were talking about your own leadership journey. Yeah, because in my little thing was talking about telling us about your own leadership journey and what drew you to hospitality space.
I think the thing with the hospitality space is that it's so personal. Like if you speak to any of our Square sellers, we call them sellers specifically in Square, as opposed to merchants or users or customers. The reason why is because it reminds us that they're trying to run their own business, and it's our job to make sure that they can sell more, you know. So it's I quite like that frame of mind. If you talk to any of our Square sellers, they're all in it because they're passionate about the thing that they're selling, whether it's coffee, whether it's, you know, burgers, whether it's tapas, whatever it is. They're all highly passionate about their products, to the point where I've had like very long conversations about whether a coffee shop should sell matcha coffee or not.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long to throw off and you've got to whisk it. And then by that point, is it worth, like, has the person waited too long for their matcha coffee?
Yeah.
Have they not turned over? So that's the reason why they're doing this stuff. And I think that passion is just infectious. And I just love listening to like their craft and you know, the things that they're talking about. Is like, right, I want to buy from this specific supplier. I want to get this quality. I don't want to, you know, I want to make sure that everything that we do is at a certain standard, because I want to eat it. I want to feel like this is a moment for someone or experience for someone. And we've all had that. That's one of your opening questions, right? Yes. What's your best experience, and why was it your best experience? And the Michel Roux Jr. thing was because it was with this beautiful little vineyard that was just next door to where he lives, that no one's ever heard of, but their wine is amazing and it was affordable. Like I could afford it, as opposed to, you know, I'm sure Michel Roux can afford what wine he wants, but you know, you could buy it in a normal shop, I guess. So, but it's those kind of people I love supporting.
Yeah. I think for us specifically, or for me, it's a story. There's always a story, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's the thing, and that's what you're leading to that anyway. I think it's all very much, there's always a story about everything in hospitality, and they always happily tell you the story. And so that's sort of what we do, when telling the story here. When I have operators on and I have marketers as well, it's really interesting to listen to their story. But I love the thing in hospitality. Everything's connected to everything, and there's always a story. So so I'm assuming that's what drew you to hospitality.
Yeah, it's those moments in life. You know, when people talk about when they got engaged, or their wedding day, or you know, their wedding anniversary or whatever, they'll always say, oh, it's so nice, we went to this lovely place and we did this thing and they had this special cupcake for us, or they brought, you know, and it was just like such an important moment. And what other context in life do people say, oh, it was great because this other person did this really special thing for me and they made me feel so special, and that's why it was wonderful. And they're complete strangers. Sometimes they're going back there because they've been there lots of times before, but you know, it's that I don't know of any other industry that's main goal is to make someone feel special as soon as they walk in the door.
Do you think the previous roles you've had gives you, because we had a couple of weeks ago we had Laura, who who works at the film Shaw, Franca Mancana, Greek.
Oh yeah.
And she's ex FMCG.
Yeah.
You know, worked at Tropicana, and then obviously then built a hospitality brand, and then now works for this. So the view from coming from different aspects coming into hospo. Listen, we're not we, but hospo is a little bit slow on the churn of things. You know, retail is way ahead. You know, so FMCG looks at massive brands.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got little hospos, you know, peddling away, trying to get the tech and so on. So, you know, the company you work for is helping customers do that. But do you think the view of the previous experience you've had into where you are on this type of role is helping
me?
Yeah, you as in like just the overview on the company, because your previous experience wasn't on hospo, right? So
okay.
I think that for me, from what I've spoken to everyone, their experience not in hospo, and then having a look at other brands it's very different. And then you come into this and you're thrown into a complete different mix.
Yeah, absolutely, completely. I think that, to your point, you know, the wonderful thing is having, as I said earlier, looking across lots of big different brands. And I think the thing is with, and this is life in general, but I think also in businesses, like especially when you're small businesses, you look to big businesses and you think, oh God, I bet they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They must have all the answers all the time. They don't. You know, and I like, you know, they don't all have the answers all the time. What they do have is more resources all the time. And a lot of the time that's the thing with hospitality, is like, again, it comes back to that the sellers who are doing it for the craft.
Yeah.
Like, they know more about their product than any, you know, Kenko. Yeah. Peter, who owns Cafe, knows more about his specific product than those guys that the lead brand at Kenko will ever know.
Yeah.
And so it's giving them the confidence to be able to focus on that stuff.
Yeah.
And
then the tech just works.
And there's a tech just works in the background. And the nice thing with tech is that it should be completely kind of invisible, and it should be silent.
Yeah.
And it should free up people to be able to focus on their craft and to focus on their passion and do the thing that they got into this for. And they took that massive risk for, that they remortgaged their house to start up their you know, tapas bar or their coffee shop or whatever it is. You know, they've got their kids working behind the counter to help them get them through university. That's a life story. Like, that's a passion, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's tee into where you are now, Square, which is over there actually. You're not far away, to be fair. It's like a 5-minute walk. I had no idea until I recently found out. So long walk for you.
Yeah.
Square's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I have fond memories from back in the day of setting up just very basic Square before the restaurants arrived. And I think I remember about, I think it says, when did it start? When did Square Restaurant start here?
Here?
Yeah.
So we launched here in 2017.
Yeah.
And since then, we launched overall, like in the US, back in 2009.
Yeah.
So we've been around forever.
Yes.
We were the kind of OGs of this industry, and the iconic,
the little white square thing,
the tiny, even smaller ones,
the plane,
the jack that went into the bottom of your phone.
I never understood how that worked. I got very confused because it's a headphone jack. How the hell would you put data to a headphone?
I know, it's amazing, right? Yes, and that's why Jack Dorsey is who Jack Dorsey is.
Yeah.
Clever guy, right?
Yes.
So we started with that, and obviously have expanded out based on listening to our sellers.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. That's our focus.
So I've been in this for a while, right? So I've seen lots of different platforms come. So I've seen lots of independents use Square when it was just Square, right? So Square, and then obviously the Square interface was just the Square interface. you know, and then I was very excited to see the Square Terminal come out, because I was like crying nearly when that first came out. And, you know, this is back in the day, you know, when it first ever arrived, this nice big chunky thing, which was awesome.
With the printer.
With the printer, yeah, absolutely. No one needs receipts anymore, but yeah, but with the printer, and also seeing different POS companies plug into Square, which was also really nice to see, and leveraging the technology for it. And then I think 4 or 5 years ago, I was in an arcade down the road, and a troop of 15 people turned up with Square for Restaurants on their t-shirt.
Yeah.
And they trumped into arcade to wave their flag, because they obviously was walked from the office and was like, "Where's the nearest big hospitality space I can go to?" And then for me, that's when Square for Restaurants sort of arrived.
Right.
Because we just saw a plethora of people just turn up with Square for Restaurants on t-shirt. I had no idea it existed until they arrived. And then obviously I did a deep dive and check it out. And I did it. So that was what, how long ago did Square for Restaurants?
Was Square there?
It's a weird one.
Square for Restaurants is not a thing.
Yeah.
So just to kind of clarify that, Square has always been for restaurants.
Yes.
Square has always been for hospitality, and it's a huge chunk of our business. And it's arguably the fit that we lean into most. Like that's always been our focus.
Yeah.
So
but the expansion of the platform,
the expansion of the platform to support it.
Yeah.
But then we also have recently kind of re-engineered that as well, so that we're bringing together other areas of the platform that service areas like retail.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at omni-channel, because that's what our sellers are doing.
Keyword, right?
It's a bit buzzword bingo.
Absolutely. Bing.
Yeah. So, because that's what our sellers are doing.
Yes.
They, you go into a coffee shop now, you can buy their beans.
Yes.
That's where I buy my coffee beans from. You go into a tapas place,
and they might sell their sauces.
They'll sell their sauces.
Yeah.
So we've now kind of re-engineered it so that it's all in one place, and you don't have to stick to one vertical anymore.
You don't have to have a separate store, a separate connection, separate stock,
all in one. So and that's because the whole thing that we do, the whole point of Square is that it is all in one place.
Yeah.
It is an ecosystem, and you have the opportunity to do everything that you need to do in one place. So you're not worried about multiple integrations outside of kind of the standard stuff that obviously we integrate with third parties. But
I mean, back to what we said before, you wanted to make it simple, right?
Yeah, exactly. The core stuff should all be at once. So, it's not like you have to have your point of sale and your payment systems to connect. That's the most, that's so important. If one of those crashes, your stuff, that's money out of your pocket. So we make sure that all of that is in one place, so that you can take payments quickly. Yeah. But also you can get to your funds even quicker.
Yeah. So over the last couple of years, the product has iterated. We have a client in Marylebone that use you guys, and I walked into their kitchen a little while ago, and I was like, "These kitchen display screens are nice." I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
where are they from?" Yeah. And he was like, "We just switched to Square," and I was like, "Where did you do that?" I had no idea. Yeah. And I looked in, and they've got all their beautiful kitchen display screens, and so on. And in the past, we've had other clients use the Square ecosystem just with normal printers and stuff. Yeah. So it has really evolved over time. Yeah. And it's nice to see actually that the things that have changed to help people really. You've obviously, and then you've got the additional features as well. So I think in the last just couple of years, I think that the iterations have just consistently changed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're so hyper focused on ensuring that we're serving the hospitality industry, and a lot of the stuff that we're releasing right now is completely crafted to that. We released the kiosk recently. We also released this beautiful little thing. I brought with her.
No, that is beautiful.
Just
I literally told someone about it yesterday.
yeah, this is our handheld, and it obviously fits in your pocket, as you could tell, because I just pulled it out of my pocket. And it's
he's wiped the druid off.
Yeah. So we get, I mean, it's slightly bigger than an iPhone, only slightly.
Yeah.
To your point, this one doesn't have a printer because people don't want receipts anymore. But the point of it is that you can shave time off service.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could come to you one table and take your order.
Yeah.
Couple of buttons, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then turn around and then have someone pay the bill. Boop, done. As opposed to having going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Also, if you're looking to if you think about your retail arm of it as well, we can scan.
Yeah, I just saw the scan on the front actually. That's cute.
Yeah. So and so it's.
So you've built it mixed use because you've got other platforms out there that just restaurant focus.
Yeah.
But you've allowed that now to omnichannel it, I guess.
Exactly. And also if one of the worst experience in any kind of restaurant is when you have a gift card.
Yeah.
And you know when you bring it, not only a lot of the time people are embarrassed.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, I've got a gift card. You know, because my mum bought it for me for my for our wedding anniversary. And then they go, oh, you've got a gift card. Okay, let me go in and just swipe that for you. Let me go and ask the manager, do you know about these gift cards? Do you know anything about it? Whereas with this, you can literally just go...
Scan it.
Boop, done. Thanks, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have to walk around. I didn't have to find someone. I didn't have to have a 10-minute conversation.
I used a gift card yesterday in a restaurant that has an old school till system, and he walked away with the cards and then came back, which was fine. I was very happy. Very happy to do.
How much time did that take?
He took him about 15 minutes to figure it out.
15 minutes.
Yeah. So and that's old school. They don't have any QR.
Yeah.
Still with that, the tech platform's changing. I'm sure you see.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that I mean, to be fair, I guess that okay, I'm going to digress because I'm going to talk about other stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. So you threw me wobbly because I literally spoke to someone yesterday. It's fine. You won't know about that. That's mine.
You can't have it. I have to.
No, you don't. It's fine. I'll drop it to the office later. I literally told someone about it the other day because there's a beautiful little bakery a coffee shop bakery in the Cotswolds called the Bakery Company that's just moved to you guys, and we plug into Square as well. And we were talking to them, and I was telling him about this. He was like, when can I get it? When can I get it? Because so he was very excited. So I'm glad it's coming out. It's out.
It's out now.
So because I was like, oh, I think someone said like next year's, but I'm glad that it's available.
No.
That's really exciting. Yeah. So that is a need, and also I'm glad it's come now, just because there is that whole need of having something where the super high end places are slightly different. Sometimes they like to write down, sometimes they like to have iPads. We work with Grind. Have still got the iPads, and they've got the big fat payment terminals. So I think it's a bit of it's a game changer really to not carry this whole thing around. And switch. So I think that's really exciting, and it's really nice to see as I said, the iterations of what you're doing. That piece just with the scanner. I mean, who would think about adding a scanner for every retail into it? So it's really interesting on that sort of side. Let's touch on, because now we're doing the Square piece. Let's touch on the other tech. So you've got the order ahead.
Yeah.
You've got the order table.
Yeah.
What am I missing? In the ecosystem.
Kiosks.
Oh yeah, that's new.
That's new.
Who's sorry, I'm gonna who's using the kiosk at the moment? Have you got people out already, or is it? I know it's quite new.
I don't know.
Because we're going to literally after this, I'm like running out to go try the kiosk. So
yeah.
So is it Square kiosk, or is it or any platform, or is it like a?
No, it's Square kiosk.
Nice.
It's integrated. Yeah. So it's.
Is it one of the big bad boys?
No.
Nice.
No, and
Good.
purposely not.
Yeah, I don't like them.
So the reason why is because obviously we're not serving McDonald's.
Yeah.
We're not serving KFC.
Yeah.
They've got big spaces where they can put massive things, the massive kiosks, and they are huge, aren't they? And kids love playing with them and using them and all that kind of stuff, and it costs a fortune when you go in because they upsell all those clever things.
Yeah.
But we're obviously not serving McDonald's and KFC and Burger King and those guys. We're serving the independent, sellers who have multi-locations.
Yes.
but aren't big chains necessarily. So they don't have that space. So our kiosk is purposely, this kind of size iPad, just slightly bigger than an iPad size.
Is the similar size as normal square terminals?
Yeah, exactly. And you have the choice of putting it on a stand, or you can mount it on the wall.
Nice.
And the reason being is that's safe, that's space saving.
Yeah.
So
and it's got the Square payment built into it as well, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So there's no separate credit card.
No. So
Sweet.
So that's kind of the thinking behind it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's about speeding up, processing payments, and also interestingly, depending on what people are buying, sometimes they don't actually want to speak to other people.
Yeah, 100%.
And
my friend will go. He doesn't want to speak to anyone. He wants to go in, order, and leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially if it's if it's QSR.
Yeah.
If it's an FSR, it's completely different. You're expecting something different. You're expecting an experience from people. You're expecting humans. But with a QSR, they want to go in and leave. And then be able to kind of go, right, okay, I've got my lunch, off I go. Brilliant. It was fast because now it hasn't taken 10 minutes out of my lunch break. It's taking 5 minutes out. So that's the thinking behind it. So yeah, we're really pleased with it because it's, again, meeting a specific need. And that's
Did it come out in the US first and then here?
Yeah, but only a short kind of. Yeah,
that's pretty good because in the past it's been like test, and then now here.
Well, that comes down to market nuances. Okay, so we might be a global business, but we're very keen to make sure that we understand our local markets, which is why we have teams in our local markets. We're not running the UK from the US. We leverage, obviously, scale from the US. Yes. For things like technology building and software and things. But we're on the market. We're in the market. We're on the ground, so that we understand. We've got experts on people, in product people in the market. We've got our account management team in market. We've got, so they're there. They understand what's going on. They're walking
you're not
the
lost.
road.
You're not lost.
You're not lost. Yeah. So all of our go-to-market teams are in market, so that they understand what this market needs specifically. And it's interesting because the UK is probably our most community-based market out of all of them. So we found that the independents that we're serving are really loved and cherished by their communities. And this has only just increased since the pandemic. And so we ensure that we're loving and cherishing them too, and understand their businesses properly. Yeah,
that's nice. I like that. And also, it's not a faceless company, right? Like yourself, I know some of the sales guys. I've spoken to them. I've met some of the team.
Yeah.
And actually, it's nice because we've had the little baker company, for example, I mentioned. We had a little meeting with his sales guy in a three-way call. Having a conversation about stuff. And I think doesn't often happen, to be honest, in other providers that are out there. So, you don't get that nurtureness. Not nurtureness. You don't get nurtured. You don't get the looked after piece. Some of them do.
Yeah.
But some of the older platforms, you just get thrown to a help desk. There's a big difference nowadays, especially with tech and tech evolving, is looking after the customer. And I think I've seen it firsthand where someone wants to make sure that it's successful.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see.
Yeah, we had our head of product, global head of product and design over last week, and they spent 3 hours with the team, and they spent 3 days talking to our sellers.
Wow.
So that's how we all work. So we'll talk to each other, but what we don't want to do is end up navel gazing. What we want to do is be with our sellers and understand the product. And it's interesting because we're always like, okay, who's having trouble?
Yeah.
Let's take them there.
Yeah.
Because they need something fixed, and these guys can actually fix it.
Oh yeah.
These guys are really senior people, so they can fix it.
Yeah.
And they listen, and don't want to know. They want to speak to the people who like us, obviously.
Yeah.
But they don't want a tour of, a magical mystery tour of We Love Square.
Yeah.
They want a magical mystery tour of what we need to do better.
Yeah.
And how can we better serve them. And so I think that's really important, and that's reflected in not just the hardware that we're that we're launching. You're hiding, but also the software.
Yes.
You know, we're launching item splitting. We're launching so many different kind of features. So scan to pay QR.
Yeah.
With QR codes.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
Speed it up again.
Nice.
Speed it up again. Multi-menu management, so people can up. If you know, if you're thinking about again Bernardo Chango Empanadas, he's got 11 locations. He wants to update his menu. He doesn't want to spend 3 days going around 11 locations. He wants to be able to do it once.
Yes.
And those things change his life.
Yeah, completely.
Change his life.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, listen, everything you can save 2 hours a day.
It's going to save him a week's time. So a week in someone's business is an awful lot of money. So, you know, that's where that comes in.
So, okay, so now you're throwing new stuff at me. So, I knew about the QR ordering. I knew that I was already there. I didn't know about the QR pay. So is that something that where when you're on that, if you've got QR code for ordering on the table, is that something just where
you can scan and pay?
You can scan and pay and leave. Nice. And then that just updates and off they go.
Yeah.
So that's nice. We always try to let people try and get people to do more on either order or scan and pay. And just to try to push it through, the pushback is everyone is, I want that service and so on. And I spoke to someone else the other day.
Which is where the handheld comes.
Yeah, exactly, which is perfect. But a colleague of mine I spoke to the other day was like, give the customer the choice. So even if it's high end, super fine dining, if it's casual dining, if it's QSR.
Yeah.
And I think what you're leading to here is you are now giving the customer the choice to choose which route they want to take.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting that you say that, because just from a personal perspective, so I'm married to a technologist.
Yeah.
And so my house is like wired for SaaS. Like I can't if our internet goes down, which it did once, I can't open my blind.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and my husband was in Poland, and I was like, I can't open the blinds. I can't really work. The Hoover won't work, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so whenever we're out and about, if there's an option to use technology, I had to speaking to someone, he's 100% going to use the technology.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you think about different personality types and, you know, other things like, you know, even think about mental health. Like if people suffers from anxiety.
My friend's kid won't speak to anyone.
Exactly.
He wants to go. He will look on TikTok and online and on Google, and if there is the option to order ahead or order a table, they will choose it, which I love.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
And you can find that now online, right? You don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah. I, on the other hand, love a chat with someone, as you can tell.
Yes.
And so
pretty well.
I want the person to come over.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to waste their time and tell them my life history, but I want them to come over and just say, and a lot of the time I want to say, oh my goodness, because I love eating.
Yeah.
I love this part of the like this thing was so nice, and please say thank you, and or the wine selection, thank you for your thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And just show them my appreciation, because I know how hard they're working, right? So I want to be able to pay, call them over to pay so that I can say thank you. Whereas my husband would rather just like leave a good tip.
Yeah, so
say, like,
you do the chat. You do the chat. He does the good tip and walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
We sort of skipped past it a little bit, but we've built into Square. Yes. Yeah. I still need to do a little video for the team because they want a video of how it works. So, but we are plugged into it, which is pretty cool.
People.
Yeah, absolutely. They love they were like, you're all ready to go. We just need you to do a video, and I'm like, I haven't got time to do a video, but I will do a video for you.
He's doing a video.
Yeah, I'd rather do this. I'd rather do this than put my face on the screen saying, if you click here and do this, this is how it works. Or I'd rather do it for the customer. But we did that really quickly. So the ecosystem is pretty mental, to be honest with you. And I wanted to just touch on it. And I've spoken to other people who built into it as well. And it's sort of an easy automated process. So one of the things I have to give you props for is, compared to others, is that open API. And that, I know we've spoken to other platforms in the past, and they're very much like, do you know how expensive an API costs to manage? And I do drop Square sometimes into it. But the Olivia Reed, who now works at Market Halls, she said ages ago, I wish the technology companies or POS companies would just grow up. What she means by that is she wishes they would just be open. Be open, let people connect, let people plug in. Don't be that barrier where you can't do it. So one thing I will say is that ecosystem is pretty awesome, and the amount of partners that are there is pretty awesome. So I wanted to just touch on that, how like it's crazy. You've got like crazy amounts of partners that are there just for whichever anyone wants to plug into.
Yeah.
Is that something that I mean, one, it's obviously hard to manage, I'm assuming, but you've got a nice automation process in there to do it. But we're speaking to people at the moment who are plugging in, which is really exciting. So I just want to say that marketplace allows people to plug in. I think I spoke to the guys at Stream Orders who in the US and over here, and also plugged in. So people like our clients who don't want to spend an absolute fortune for the delivery piece and integration piece, and it's just in your marketplace. They were like, just tell the guys to go in the marketplace and click the button. So I will say that's one thing that I have to give you props for, it is that openness. And I did speak to the development team on Discord. I didn't even know they were there, but there's development team, there's a little Discord channel, and I had a chat with the development team. They were very nice, and they responded within like an hour. I was like, that's crazy. So props for the openness.
Oh wow.
And the ecosystem. So I've been through it, so I've had that experience. So I just wanted to mention that one as well. So
I appreciate that. I mean, so our purpose at Square is hands down one thing, which is to provide economic empowerment to sellers. And that comes from being open and being connected. And, again, having a founder like Jack Dorsey who believes in economic empowerment to his core. He's a different kettle of fish than the normal kind of tech innovators. And the reason being is that he strongly believes that the economy should be open to everyone. And if you look at some of the other sister brands within our parent company, they're all around opening up financial opportunities for everybody. And that starts from from the little guy, from the little girl, and it's really core to our beliefs in everything that we do. And that's also why we're so transparent with things like pricing. We're actually, people are always ask, oh, are you guys a bit more expensive than everybody else? No, we're actually not. We're just honest about how much you're going to be charged. And
it's that small pretty.
It's exactly. And we really believe that you can only be economically empowered if you know what you're paying and you know what your bill's going to be at the end of the month, as opposed to being locked into crazy long contracts where all of a sudden they hike your rate up. You get a great rate at the beginning, hike your rate up 3 months in, but you're stuck with it now. There's nothing you can do. Plus there's some sort of random fee for hiring some software, some hardware that you thought you'd paid for. Plus there's like astronomical SaaS fees. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
I'm not spending that. I'm spending
that 1.6 rate is now like 5 times more expensive because of all of the add-ons. So it's those kind of things that Square is really, really kind of key on, and we're really kind of hot on. We have a super cheesy phrase, and I apologize, but
like cheesy phrase.
I love a cheesy phrase, which is fair and square. It needs to be fair and square, right? So if we're not doing the right thing and we're not being fair, obviously we're a business, we're there to make a profit. We're not going to pretend that we're not, but at least what you're getting with us. It's completely transparent. So it's really important that we're doing that, and having open APIs is part of enabling people to build their businesses through other partners and supporting them and making it easy for them, because they don't have to have a tech team. They don't have to have a CTO. They don't have to have a developer that sits, and pays for that. They can figure it out themselves. And our tech is even more moving towards that in the future.
I think that's a nice thing. The biggest thing that we speak to operators is about, one, there's no time. right? That's the big challenge, not of whether it's marketing, whether it's operations. Everyone is so busy doing everything.
Yeah.
So if you can streamline anything, the vests, and if they can find something they want to do, or this is a great idea, or to plug this in, it gives them the option. I think the other interesting thing with your marketplace is that there isn't just 3 of one type of company. There's like 10. You know what I mean? So if someone says to you, oh, you should really work with these companies, you know, you know that's most likely going to be in there to plug into. And the connection piece is just you logging in with your Square, rather than having API conversations and codes and keys, which makes everything a lot more complicated.
Yeah, I don't know many, small business owners who would know how to do that.
No.
In fact, I know one. I know one coffee shop owner who used to be a techie and loves coffee so much, as all techies do, by the way. Decided to set up his own coffee shop, and he's a really interesting person to talk to.
With Square.
With Square,
I'd love to have a chat with him. I love a bit of tech. Okay, amazing. Thank you. I mean, to be fair, the next stuff really is just about what the future's like. I mean, you've shown me the future part of the future.
That's the now.
Sorry, this is the now. You're right. Sorry, for me, my mind was going, but yes, that is the right now. So that's right now.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? I mean, you've obviously mentioned the pay at QR, which is pretty cool. And is that now as well?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, amazing. So that's definitely check out. What's coming up next that you can share, or can you share?
I can't share because I will be hoisted over the coals. But I think the interesting. Okay.
Do you think it's going a lot more omnichannel?
Yeah. I mean, that's old though, isn't it? Like, that's the buzzword from that's been going.
People still aren't old omnichannel right now.
Like a decade, 15 years. I think I can't be. Sorry, I'm putting my hand on the thing. We couldn't be a tech company and not talk about AI.
Yeah.
So I think that's something you may have seen in the States, that we have launched Square AI, which the idea of that is to provide small businesses with basically a chief operations officer.
Yeah.
So, and the great thing about it is that it pulls from different AI agents, but also it's closed off. So anything that any of your data will never be shared anywhere else. So it's completely walled off. And that's the problem with obviously using AI in an open place. So I think that
it's exciting.
That's super exciting because
there's 2 pieces you just mentioned. One is you mentioned you dropped AI, so you dropped the AI bomb, which is great. 2, you dropped in AI agents. Which is not that many people are talking. Well, people are talking about it who know about it, but the AI agent thing is very interesting.
Yeah, I think. The way that we see it working is that, this is again an interesting conversation that I have all the time at home with my husband, because he's a technologist. I feel like he's featured an awful lot, so I'm really sorry. But also we just have in our circle of tech people, which is people keep asking us who don't work in tech, oh, that AI is going to take our jobs, all of our jobs.
Yeah.
We're like, it's just not, guys. No. Just calm down, everybody. What it's going to do is make you more efficient and move like light speeds quicker. And that's the idea with us harnessing it and making sure that it's safe for you to use, keeping your data safe, keeping your customer data safe, but serving you trends that you hadn't necessarily thought about in the past, and being able to prompt you and tell you where the opportunities are for growth. So that's what's exciting, is how can it make this even faster? I mean, to be fair, Square reporting is super intuitive anyway. I'm proud to say it's probably the most intuitive reporting system out there. So it's really easy. It's at your fingertips. It's on your phone. It's on your laptop, wherever you need it. And you can look at, how you're doing that day and what's selling, what's not. But this can just supercharge it.
Yeah.
And
the natural language questions and stuff.
Exactly.
That's what everyone wants right now.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And the other thing I haven't mentioned is Square Loyalty. It's been around for quite a while, Square Loyalty, on the phone number and everything else. But I went to a client in Herne Hill the other day, and I went to the station and went to some Sicilian coffee shop that I've never been to in my entire life. And I paid by Apple Pay. And as I walked out, I got a lovely option of a wallet that popped into my phone. So, and I was like, I'm sure I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And then and I kept it in my phone. Bearing in mind, they probably only got one coffee shop in Herne Hill.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting to see. And it sparked a lot of interest of other people I've been speaking to. So that's very interesting. A friend of mine, Square in America is very different to here. We have regulations and GDPR. So it's a little bit tighter here. A friend of mine was in Texas, went to a coffee shop, and then went over to the food back to New York for a meeting. And Square already knew who he was, so it was fine. So the wallet was pushed down. So it's very different in America to here.
They're expecting that as well.
Yeah, of course.
We're very careful to make sure that we're only using data in a way that makes someone's experience better. We're not using it for the sake of it. And we know from research, heavy research as well, that 3/4 of consumers are happy for you to use their data in the UK. That's in the UK. As long as you're bettering their experience. It's when you're using it for no reason whatsoever that they don't like it. But yeah, obviously the UK, again, market nuances when you look at being a global company. The UK is the most regulated of all of our markets, which again is why we're so imperative that we have a team on the ground so that we understand that and that we have great relationships with the various regulatory bodies. Sorry, put my teeth back in. And so, making sure that we're gold standard,
absolutely,
which we are. You know, especially as we do have cash flow solutions and things like that for us, for our sellers as well. So making sure that we're again doing the right thing by the sellers at all times.
I love it. It's nice to see. We've the Little Baker company, very happy with their Apple Wallet that comes up. So it's a really nice thing. I spoke to a wallet company I work with, who are like trying to figure out a way of they can do it, but there's no way of doing it how you do it because you have the ecosystem. So that's a pretty awesome tool, and we try and get as many people to get that wallet in as possible, because if you're 100 meters of any location, it will pop up. So which is a really nice piece on that on the loyalty stuff. So it's really interesting of what's happening and what's coming with the AI stuff. I'd love to, for me, I'd love to see the loyalty piece just be like explode, because it's really good of what it does. And we've got loads of clients that use the CRM piece as well, and there's those little pieces inside it that you could do. So it's really nice to see. But okay, so I'm going to give you a little round of that's a round of applause. We have coming to the end, so I probably missed a lot of questions from there. But let's hit with the final questions, which are best restaurant.
Best restaurant has to be either Broken Eggs, which is just down the road. Brilliant tapas. You can tell I could talk about tapas. Absolutely amazing restaurant. Or Champagne and Fromage, because cheese. Obviously.
Have you been to the Seven Does Market with the cheese chavator?
Yeah.
That's immense. That's immense.
I'm 90% cheese.
Best burger.
Great question. So best burger is the Cow at Tupnell Farm on the Isle of Wight.
Okay.
It's a very specific.
Very specific. I love that.
But it's so good. Their burger. That's all they sell is burgers.
Love that.
And everyone is like that. I think they sell 6. And that's it.
Really?
And they're just 6 different types.
Yeah.
And they're just phenomenal. Like, if you're a burger lover, that's where you go to the right, jump on a ferry.
I think I'm going to go to point.
Yeah.
Best hotel.
So this had me stumped. I actually had to ring again, my poor husband, and say, what's our favourite hotel? And he was like, we don't really like hotels, Fee. We like B&Bs.
Yeah.
We like family-run B&Bs. And the reason why we like them is because they're family run and the people who run them really care about what they're doing. And, and he gave me like 5 different examples of the different places that we stayed. He's like, remember that one in Cornwall where they had freshly ground coffee outside for when you wake up in the morning and you just put it in your cafetiere, and then there's a boiled water, and then so they're not intrusive, but it's there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that. And then he was like, well, remember this one? And it's all those tiny.
We generalise onto some really nice B&Bs, basically.
Guys,
it's the human touch, isn't it?
It's the human touch, and also that's their livelihood. That's their life. And B&Bs in particular. It's like they're there all the time. That's all they do is serving their customers because they're beautiful, beautiful kind of little businesses.
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay, so we now are on to the 2 questions for the next guest.
Okay, 2 questions for the next test. The first one is again has to be an AI question. So, where do you think AI is going to be best applied to hospitality now and in the future?
Yeah.
And then my second question is, what's your favorite cheese?
Favorite cheese. What's
Yeah.
your favorite cheese?
Much like children, I don't have a favorite. It's you know, it's courses for courses.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I was about to say, open the box and what do you see? But you probably got a selection. Of
yeah. But I would say generally it will be something gooey and strong.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do one more of these. Thank you. They can all hear that. You can hear just about. Thank you very much for coming. Give everyone a wave goodbye. Thank you very much.